So we talked about the story of me picking up my daughter and her having a mini meltdown every day in the car on the way home for a while. And that was really her way of decompressing and releasing and I was holding it together all day long. I just need to chill out for a little bit. The lesson that I learned from all that is sort of an adjacent lesson of when you are a parent. As a parent, you are the toy with your kids. When your kids want to spend time with you, want to play with you, what they really want to do is be with you, be in your orbit, because you equal a safe space to them. Just like in the story, when my daughter was crying in the car ride, she felt that she was in a safe space where she could let it go. She wasn't going to get in trouble. She could just cry and just get it out of her system. And as she got older, now that sort of evolved into, Dad, will you play with me? Mom, will you play with me? And that is, hey, you're the safe space. You're the toy. I want to spend time with you because I feel safe with you in your orbit. I can do whatever I want. It's a judgment-free zone, and I can express myself however I want to because, again, at school, even though I can hold it together better, I still have to hold it together all day long at school. I still have to follow all the rules and do all the things and raise my hand and use my inside voice and all that sort of stuff. And the other lesson that I learned was my relationship with what my release or decompressing is. And I think it's very easy for me to look in the mirror that I have an unhealthy relationship with a lot of my decompression outlets, whether that's food or whether that's working out or listening to podcasts or watching movies or whatever. Is I think the relationship that I've developed is it was kind of a way for me to disappear as opposed to a way for me to help me unwind. So I think I used those different things, which are pure and good and normal in and of themselves, but I looked at it as an escape, as in a way for me to kind of escape my reality instead of allowing me to sort of come down from the day of my reality. And also with that is, am I doing my family a disservice by being so self-serving in those moments that I'm not creating a safe space for my family to be able to have their decompression and their release? And notice that I didn't say that one of my decompressions or releases is my wife or my kids. And I recognize that, and it is, but I don't think that's not the first places that I go. And that to me tells me that I have an unhealthy relationship with some of these other things because I'm looking for those outlets as opposed to putting more kind of stewardship into the marriage and the fatherhood and using that as a way to kind of come down and release from the stresses of my day. Now, the advice that I would give my daughter kind of goes hand in hand with this is, and I made a note of it here, is to be aware of how you form and maintain the relationships with people, places, and things. And going in line and theme with the exhale and coming down and releasing and all of that. The catch is that we need to kind of curate those relationships, treat it with the respect, and help grow that over time as opposed to doing what I did, which is using it as an escape and kind of losing myself in it as opposed to using it to kind of help me get through the next part of the day or whatever. And my unhealthy relationship with food or with other things has caused a kind of a loop that I talked about before, the sort of the self-sabotage loop of you're just kind of living in this lower level frequency. You just cannot get above and rise above this sort of this area of needed clarity and everything. And it's if you're just if you're putting the wrong value or too much value on those things, it's hard for you to grow as a person and to recognize where you need to grow. So for me, instead of coming down and using some of those things as a way to release and decompress from the day, I was just jumping straight into that stuff any chance that I could as a way to escape the day. And there's a big distinction there. So that is my advice to my daughter when she's older, is be aware of that distinction. We all go through some form of that at some time, but be aware of it and do whatever we can to offset that and minimize just jumping in and escaping versus using things to help you decompress from the day or the week or whatever.